Every weekend, my housekeeper's son comes over to freeload off me. Thinking about how his mom has worked for my family for years, I always kept my mouth shut. But one day, I came home to find the door code had been changed. There was a note stuck to the door. No freeloaders allowed. I ripped the note off and pounded on the door, demanding to know what the hell was going on with the housekeeper. Her son was lounging on the sofa. He shot back with a nasty tone. "Can't you read? Showing up to freeload at my house every day. Have you no shame? If you don't have a place to live, go sleep on the street. I can't stand leeches like you who sponge off others." I was stunned, completely clueless about what was happening. The housekeeper immediately came over and whispered an explanation in my ear. "Young master, I'm so sorry. My son, he doesn't know I'm a housekeeper. He's a bit spoiled and doesn't like living with strangers." "Oh right, don't you have another house in the suburbs? From now on, whenever my son comes to visit on the weekends, why don't you just go stay at the suburban house?" With that, she slammed the door right in my face. I stood outside the door and calmly dialed security. "Hello? Someone has illegally entered and taken over my house. I need you to come handle this immediately." I never thought that I, the son of the richest man in the city, would be called a freeloader. More importantly, this villa is my personal property. 20 minutes later, an official vehicle pulled up in front of the villa. 2 police officers got out, but before they could even ask what was going on, the housekeeper, Wang Shujin, rushed to open the door. She hurried over to me, her face drained of all color. She trembled as she spoke. "Young master, what is all this? Why did you call the police?" I glanced at her and said nothing. The officer looked her up and down. "Are you the one Mr. Lin reported for trespassing and illegally occupying his home?" Hearing this, Wang Shujin panicked. No, officers, it's not like that. It's all a misunderstanding. I'm Mr. Lin's housekeeper. I take care of his meals and daily needs. My son is on break from school, so he's just staying here for a few days. The keypad lock was broken earlier. When I called someone to fix it, I had them change the code. There's absolutely no illegal occupation going on." As she spoke, she pointed to the villa's door. "See? Didn't I open the door for you right away?" The officer looked at me, then back at her. "Mr. Lin, do you wish to press charges?" Just as I was about to speak, Wang Shujin suddenly lowered her voice and pleaded in my ear. "Young master, Ozzy's father died when he was young. It hasn't been easy raising him all by myself. He just started college. His pride is at its peak right now. Plus, he grew up without a father, so his personality can be a bit extreme. If he finds out I'm just a housekeeper, he'll be devastated. I'm only doing this to make him feel a little better about himself. Please, for the sake of the 12 years I served your parents, let this go just this once." When Wang Xiujin mentioned my parents, I did feel my resolve soften. She's been with my family for 12 years. Back when my mother was still alive, her health was poor, and it was Wang Xiujin who was always by her side, meticulously taking care of everything, from serving tea to fetching water. The day my mother passed, she cried harder than anyone. She knelt by the bedside, held my mother's hand, and promised she would take good care of me. And after that, she did exactly as she promised. She kept the house spotless. She treated me like her own son. Whenever I gave her a red envelope for the holidays, she would always refuse it several times before finally accepting. 3 months ago, her son, Chen Zi, got into the same university as me. Wang Shujin was both happy and worried. Happy that her son was successful, but worried because she couldn't afford the high tuition. Sympathizing with her struggles as a single mother, I offered to pay for all 4 years of Chen Zi's college tuition. At the time, Wang Shujin was moved to tears. She gripped my hand, thanking me profusely and promising she would repay my kindness one day. But starting last month, things started to change. I came home one day and was surprised to see Chen Zi there. While I was still confused, Wang Shujin pulled me aside. She explained in a low voice, "Young master, my son has the weekend off with nowhere to go. I haven't seen him in a while, so I told him to come stay for a couple of days." I nodded and didn't say anything more. After all, the house has plenty of rooms. It was no big deal to let a mother and son reunite. But gradually, I started to feel like something was off. The so-called couple of days turned into a regular weekend affair. Every Friday, Chen Zi would show up at my house like clockwork and wouldn't leave until Monday morning. At first, Chen Zi just liked taking pictures in the living room. He'd post them on social media to show off to his friends that he was staying in a huge house. I could understand that. After all, everyone wants to look good in front of others. But what I couldn't understand was the look of disgust and contempt Chen Zi always gave me, as if my very presence was a huge inconvenience to him. A few times, while I was watching TV in the living room, he would deliberately pinch his nose and complain loudly. It stinks. How can such a luxurious villa always have this disgusting smell? I thought he actually smelled something strange. I even specifically told Wang Shujin to give the house a thorough cleaning. But as a result, Chen Zi just got worse. He'd either frantically spray disinfectant where I had just been sitting, or he'd put a disposable cover on the sofa and make me sit on it. A few times, I even saw him throw things I had touched into the trash with a look of utter disgust. Whenever I questioned this, Wang Shujin would always pull me aside and calmly explain, Ozzy is just worried that things aren't clean and might affect your health. That's why he's being so overly cautious. Hearing that, I didn't think much more of it. After all, besides going to school every day, I also had to handle countless matters, big and small, at the family company. I was so swamped, I didn't have the energy to argue with him. It wasn't until this afternoon, when I saw that note on the door, that I finally understood. Chenzi had been treating me like a freeloader all along. Originally, I was planning to teach Wang Xiujin and Chenzi a lesson they'd never forget. But now, with Wang Xiujin begging me so desperately, "Young master, I promise this will never happen again. I'll explain everything to Ozzy today. I'll never let him stay here again. Please, for the sake of the many years I served your parents, forgive me just this once." Looking at her bowing and scraping, I sighed. Fine. I won't press the issue. After the police left, Wang Xiujin looked as if a huge weight had been lifted from her shoulders. She let out a sigh of relief, thanking me over and over. Her attitude was impeccable. From that day on, Chenzi really did stop coming to my house. Wang Xiujin continued to work diligently. She kept the house sparkling clean. The only problem was that things in the house started to go missing. One day, a bottle of red wine would disappear, the next, a set of dinnerware, the day after, an expensive designer outfit. Every time I asked, Wang Xiujin had an excuse ready. "Young master, I'm so terribly sorry. I accidentally broke that bottle of wine while I was cleaning. Young master, that dinnerware set was getting old. I noticed a crack in it while washing. I was afraid you'd cut yourself, so I just threw it out. Young master, I took that outfit to the dry cleaners. But they ended up losing it." Even though her excuses always sounded a bit forced, her attitude was always so good that I didn't press her on it. I thought that was the end of it, until the Qingming festival. Missing my late parents, I decided to visit the suburban villa where they had spent half their lives to tidy up. It was my parents' favorite place. The yard was filled with my mother's treasured flowers, and the house was decorated with souvenirs my father had brought back from his travels all over the world. Before she passed away, my mother held my hand and told me that house was her and my father's life's work, and that I had to take good care of it. I cherished that villa. Even though I moved out because I was afraid the memories would be too painful, I still came back personally to clean it every so often. I'd carefully wipe down every piece of furniture and trim the plants in the garden. But this time, when I arrived at the villa, I was stunned. The gate, which was always kept locked, was wide open. From inside, I could hear deafening music and a chaotic mix of laughter. I immediately pushed open the half-closed door, and when I saw the scene inside, I was completely frozen. The villa's living room was a war zone. Empty wine bottles were strewn across the coffee table, the sofa, and the floor. Snack bags, fruit peels, melon seeds, and cigarette butts. The leather sofa, worth millions, was riddled with black holes from cigarette burns. My mother's favorite Persian rug was covered in footprints and stained with pools of red wine. The souvenirs hanging on the wall, some had been taken down to be used as photo props. Others were smashed to pieces and tossed in a corner. Seeing this, my fists clenched instantly. My parents lived in this villa for half their lives. Every single item, every piece of decor, was meticulously chosen by them. Normally, I'm so careful when I walk around here, afraid of bumping into anything. And now, it had been trashed beyond recognition. My eyes scanned the room, and I spotted Chen Zi on the sofa opposite the door. He was surrounded by our university classmates. "Brother Zay, your family is crazy rich. Even your suburban villa is this luxurious." "Yeah, I just looked it up. Any one of these paintings on the wall is worth millions. Damn, your mom is a powerhouse, a billionaire CEO, for real. Since we're classmates, when you graduate and inherit the family fortune, can you hook us up with jobs at your company?" Chen Zi was basking in the flattery. A smug grin spread across his face. "That's nothing. Just stick with me. You guys will never have to worry about money again." Hearing this, the classmates were overjoyed and laid the flattery on even thicker. Just then, Chen Zi saw me standing at the door. He stormed over to me and without a word, punched me square in the face. You dare follow me all the way here? The sudden punch left me stunned. The other student's eyes went wide. Z, what's going on? Chenzi pointed at me with contempt and said hatefully, this guy, Lin Tianqing, is the one I was just telling you about. The shameless freeloader who doesn't know his place. Wasn't it enough to sponge off me at my city house? Now you want to come leech off me at the new villa my mom bought especially for me? I stared at Chenzi in disbelief. Who told you this was a new house your mom bought for you? Chenzi scoffed. My mom, of course. You're just the type to see that my mom is a CEO. So you cling to my house every day, trying to get in front of my mom to get her attention. Freeloading every day, trying to create chances to be alone with my mom, wasn't that enough? Now you want to take over my villa too? Let me tell you something. My mom said she only lets you stay because she feels sorry for you, an orphan with no parents. Don't push your luck and think you can compete for a place in my family. So Wang Xiujin actually told Chenzi that? No wonder his attitude towards me was so awful before. It turns out, in his mind, Wang Xiujin was the CEO who owned the villa, and I was just some pitiful charity case she took in. So Chenzi always thought I was freeloading at his house. And he even imagined I was trying to steal his place as the only son. How ridiculous. As Chenzi spoke, he turned and shouted to his friends. Do you guys have any idea how shameless this Lin Tianqing is? He mooches off my family every single day. I can't get rid of him no matter how hard I try. I even put up a note telling him to stop freeloading. And what does he do? He gets all resentful and calls the cops, claiming my mom was bullying him. My mom was worried he'd make a scene and hurt the company's reputation, so she had to swallow her pride and buy me this new villa just so I could have my own space. Sometimes, I really don't get it. I'm her actual son, the real young master, and I still stay in the dorms most of the time. But him, a homeless nobody clinging to my house all day like he owns the place. It's gotten to the point where if I want to wear my own clothes or drink my own wine, my mom has to sneak them over from the city villa, just so he won't find out and claim we're bullying him again. I've never met anyone so thick-skinned in my entire life. My eyes widened. So that's why things have been going missing from my villa lately. Wang Xiujin has been secretly taking them for her son to use. Well played, Wang Xiujin. If you're going to treat me like a fool, then don't blame me for what comes next. I pulled out my phone, about to call the legal department. Get people to my parents' suburban villa now. I didn't even get to finish the sentence. Chenzi snatched my phone and slammed it on the ground. Why do you love putting on a show so much? Your parents' villa? This is the villa my mom bought for me. The other students started chiming in, criticizing and scorning me. So that's what's going on. No wonder everyone else stays in the dorms. But he's never there. I thought he was busy with something important. Turns out he was just running off to Brother Z's house to be a parasite. That's just pathetic. Yeah, latching onto a rich family as soon as his parents died. It's disgusting. Some people are just like that. The second they see someone rich, they try every trick in the book to get close. Trying to ride someone else's coattails to change their fate. Z, you're too nice. If someone tried to steal my family from me, I'd beat the crap out of them. I ignored their chatter and looked straight at Chenzi. I warned him coldly. I suggest you call your mother and ask her very carefully just who this villa belongs to. Hearing that, Chenzi's face darkened. He grabbed my collar. You still want to call my mom over? Don't think I don't know what you're up to. You're trying to take advantage of her kindness to trick her into coming here so you can get something out of her. As he spoke, his eyes suddenly fell on my neck. A glint appeared in his eyes. This jade necklace looks expensive. You probably begged my mom for this too, right? The moment the words left his mouth, he yanked it hard and ripped the necklace right off my neck. Chenzi's move was too fast, too forceful. Before I could react, the necklace was in his hand. Seeing this, my expression changed. Give it back. Seeing how tense I suddenly became, Chenzi gave me a nasty look. So tense? Looks like this thing cost my mom a pretty penny. I was furious. Give it back. Now. My mother gave that to me. It's not worth any money, but it means everything to me. Give it back, I said, reaching out to snatch it back. This jade necklace was a protective amulet my mother had practically traded her life to get for me. I was frail and sickly as a child. When I was 10, I fell gravely ill and was hospitalized, unconscious. The doctors told my parents to prepare for the worst. My mother refused to give up. She traveled to a temple to pray for my recovery. To show her sincerity, in the middle of a scorching 40-degree summer, she kowtowed with every single step, from the base of the mountain all the way to the summit. She bowed until her knees were a bloody mess, bone showing through, until her head was bleeding and she was barely conscious. Only then did she obtain this necklace, Perhaps even the heavens were moved by my mother. I, who had been in a deep coma, miraculously woke up. But because of that ordeal, my mother fell ill and passed away. Before she died, she placed the necklace in my hand and told me I had to protect it with my life. I treasured this necklace more than anything. I've worn it ever since I was a child. It was something my mother bought with her life. It was my absolute limit. I would never, ever allow anyone to destroy it. The more you want it, the more I have to destroy it. Before I could reach him, Chen Zi threw the necklace to the ground with all his might. With a sharp crack, the jade pendant shattered, sending fragments scattering everywhere. No seeing the jade my mother had traded her life for lying in pieces, my heart seized. I couldn't breathe. You've gone too far. I couldn't hold back any longer. I threw a punch straight at Chen Zi's face. You dare hit me? Chen Zi clutched his face and shrieked. Get him for me. Whoever beats him up the best. I'll have my mom give them 1,000,000 yuan. Hearing that, the classmates' eyes lit up. They swarmed me. How dare you hit Brother Z? His mom is the richest person in the city. You're so out of line. Yeah, a freeloader like you couldn't afford a necklace like that. It was obviously something you got from Brother Z's mom. He was just dealing with his own property. What's there for you to get so worked up about, you ungrateful bastard? It's bad enough you're a leech, but to actually start a fight? Unbelievable. And you have the nerve to mention your mother. If your parents knew you turned out like this, they'd be heartbroken. I was beaten to the ground, shaking with rage. I gritted my teeth. You will all regret this. At that, everyone present burst out laughing as if they'd just heard the world's greatest joke. Z's mom is a billionaire. What right do you have to make us regret anything? That's hilarious. You're just a freeloader and you dare threaten us? A guy who doesn't even have his own home can only scream to vent his feelings. They pinned me to the ground, mocking and insulting me relentlessly. Buoyed by the crowd, Chen Zi grabbed my hair and said arrogantly, Regret? I've never known the meaning of the word. I'd love to see how you're going to make me regret this. Just as he finished speaking, a fleet of luxury cars sped up and stopped right in front of the villa. The sudden arrival of the luxury convoy left everyone stunned. Chen Zi and his friends all stopped, turning to look at the door. As everyone watched, the car doors opened in unison. A group of tall, imposing men in black suits stepped out. Their faces were stern, their gazes as sharp as a hawk's. They strode quickly towards the villa's main hall. Leading them was a woman in a dress. She wore gold-rimmed glasses. Her hair was styled elegantly. It was Liu Ruyan, the head of my corporation's legal department. She was my father's most trusted right-hand woman, and one of the senior executives helping me manage the company. Behind her were more than 20 legal staff and several professional security guards. Each of them carried a briefcase and a body camera. Their presence was overwhelming as they instantly surrounded the villa's entrance. Witnessing this scene, the students were dumbfounded, whispering amongst themselves, What's going on? Why are there so many people here all of a sudden? Do you even have to ask? This has to be Brother Z's mom's doing. His mom is so rich. She knew Brother Z was bringing friends to the villa for a party today, so of course she'd throw a grand welcome reception. Makes sense. So these people came specifically to show respect to Brother Z and welcome us. The classmates convinced themselves of this and got extremely excited. Their faces were full of arrogance. Chen Zi's eyes lit up. He immediately let go of my hair and straightened his clothes. Then, acting like the master of the house, he stepped forward, looking at Liu Ruyan and the others. He asked smugly, Excuse me, did my mom send you here? Liu Ruyan didn't even spare Chen Zi a glance. Her eyes quickly swept across the living room. When she saw me beaten and collapsed on the floor, with blood dripping from my mouth and my hair a mess, her face instantly darkened. She hurried over and bent down to help me up. President Lin, are you all right? Her voice wasn't loud, but it carried an undeniable respect. Hearing this, the crowd that had been full of anticipation just a moment ago suddenly froze in shock. Chen Zi was also stunned for a second, but right after, as if he had just heard the most ridiculous joke in the world, he burst out laughing. President Lin? Ha ha, did you guys hear that? This woman actually called this freeloader President Lin. Chen Zi pointed at me, laughing so hard he couldn't even stand straight. A loser who doesn't even have a roof over his head deserves to be called President Lin? The classmates also roared with laughter, chiming in. Did you get the wrong guy? He's just a freeloader. He leeches off others every day, always scheming to cling to someone else's family. Exactly a guy like him, a president. You better open your eyes wide. Don't get scammed. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan immediately frowned and shouted coldly, insolent. Her voice wasn't loud, but it was as sharp as a knife, instantly cutting through all the noise in the room. Amidst the crowd's shock, she emphasized every single word. The man standing before you is none other than Lin Tiancheng, chairman of the Shengxi Group. The entire room fell dead silent for a moment. And then, an even louder burst of laughter erupted. Ha ha, this is getting more and more ridiculous. If he's the chairman of the Shengxi Group, then who is Brother Z's mom? He doesn't even have a place to live. What right does he have to claim he's the chairman of Shengxi Group? He probably crashed at the chairman's house for a few days and started thinking he was the chairman himself, huh? Brother Ze is the biological son of the Shengxi Group's chairman, and even he wouldn't dare say that. A freeloader like him? This is hilarious seeing you all dressed so sharply earlier. I thought you were some big shots. Now I get it. You're just a bunch of paid extras, aren't you? Lin Tiancheng knew he couldn't beat Brother Ze, so he got desperate and paid you guys to act like big shots to save face, right? Spit it out. How much did Lin Tiancheng pay you to put on this act? I'll double it. Let me experience what it feels like to be the chairman for once. Chen Zi also looked at Liu Ruyan with a mocking sneer and said coldly, if you're gonna put on a play, at least make it convincing. You just had to hit a brick wall like this. Do you have any idea what my mom's status is? I am Chen Zi, the son of Wang Xiujin, the chairman of the Shengxi Group. Hearing this, Liu Ruyan furrowed her brows slightly. Wang Xiujin? Isn't that President Lin's maid? Hearing Liu Ruyan's words, Chen Zi's face changed drastically. He yelled, Maid? What kind of nonsense are you spouting? How could my mom be a maid? She is the chairman of the Shengxi Group, the richest female billionaire in this city, and I, Chen Zi, am the son of a billionaire. Liu Ruyan let out a cold laugh. Ignorant fool. After saying that, she turned her head and instructed the security personnel behind her, secure the scene, take photos of all the damaged items for evidence. Also, restrain all these people. No one is allowed to leave. How dare they lay a hand on President Lin? Today, we will make them pay a heavy price. The men behind her responded in unison and immediately stepped forward to subdue Chen Zi and his classmates. Understood. Director Liu, what are you doing? Chen Zi backed away in terror, shouting, I'm warning you, don't come any closer. My mom is Wang Xiujin, chairman of the Shengxi Group. If you dare touch me, she absolutely won't let you off the hook. The classmates also panicked and chimed in. That's right, Brother Z is Madame Wang's only son. Messing with Brother Z means going against Madame Wang. Madame Wang is a billionaire with tens of billions in assets. You actors better know what's good for you. Leave now while you still can once Madame Wang gets here. You won't be able to leave even if you want to, Brother Z. Hurry up and call your mom. Tell her to bring her people here and see if these actors still dare to act so arrogant. Chen Zi snapped back to reality. He frantically pulled his phone from his pocket and called Wang Xiujin. It rang a few times before someone picked up. He practically screamed, Mom! Get to the suburban villa right now. Someone's here causing trouble. They even said they're going to lock us up and won't let us leave. Mom, hurry up and bring your men here from the other end of the line, came Wang Xiujin's clearly panicked voice. Z, what's going on? Tell me exactly what happened, Chen Zi said bluntly. It's that loser who's always been freeloading at our house. He suddenly showed up at the villa and even brought a bunch of actors to put on a show, spouting nonsense about how he's President Lin and that you're his maid. Mom, hurry up and get here. I'm so scared. The other end of the line went dead silent upon hearing this. Chen Zi stomped his feet anxiously. Mom, are you listening? Why aren't you saying anything? When are you getting here? Wang Xiujin swallowed hard, her voice trembling. Z, I'm coming right now. You don't get into a conflict with them. Wait for me to get there. Just wait for me! Chen Zi hung up the phone. He turned his head, glaring at me and Liu Ruyan with eyes full of hatred. Just you wait! My mom is on her way. Let's see how you wrap up this little play of yours. Then I pulled up a chair and sat down without saying a word. Liu Ruyan leaned down and asked me softly, President Lin? Should I treat your wounds first, and we can deal with Wang Xiujin when she arrives? Hearing this, Chen Zi sneered. Keep acting. Wait until my mom gets here. Let's see how long you can keep this up. Seeing that Wang Xiujin was actually coming, the classmates also regained their courage. They cheered him on. Brother Ze, when Madame Wang gets here, you have to tell her to teach these arrogant fools a lesson. Yeah, how dare they barge into the villa? Madame Wang gave you and try to intimidate us with this fake show of power. They must have a death wish. When Madame Wang arrives, we'll show them what a real chairman's wrath looks like. Not only that, You have to let your mom see Lin Tiancheng's true colors, so she won't be soft-hearted and take him in anymore. After today, let Lin Tiancheng fend for himself. I want to see how he survives without your mom taking him in. Chenzi gritted his teeth, staring daggers at me. Don't worry. Today, no matter how much Lin Tiancheng plays the victim, begs or threatens, I won't let my mom take him in anymore. Not only that, I'll have my mom wipe the floor with them. Lu Ruyan let out a scoff. Wipe the floor with us? With just Wang Shujin? A lowly maid like her is worthy of that? Chenzi was furious. Cut the crap. My mom is not a maid. She lives in a villa worth hundreds of millions. She owns the Shengxi Group, the biggest corporation in this province. This suburban villa she casually bought for me is also priceless. How could someone so outstanding be a maid? I bet Lin Tiancheng deliberately hired you guys to smear my mom's name, drive a wedge between us so he can take advantage of the situation and steal my spot as the billionaire's son. Lu Ruyan looked as if she'd just heard the funniest joke in the world, her face dripping with contempt. You're so stupid it's beyond saving. This villa was where President Lin's parents used to live. And that $100 million villa you mentioned? President Lin bought that himself after he came of age. As for the Shengxi Group, that was built from the ground up by President Lin's parents. President Lin is the real son of this city's richest man. No, wait, he's inherited everything from his parents. He is the richest man now. As for Wang Shumian, she's nothing more than President Lin's live-in housekeeper. Without a second's thought, Chenzi immediately shot back. You're lying. If all of this belongs to him, then why does he have to freeload at my house every single day? I almost laughed at his stupidity. Do you not understand plain language? That house is mine. How is living in my own house freeloading? The only reason you were allowed to stay at my place was out of respect for your mother being a long-time employee. I just couldn't be bothered to deal with you. As for why she lied to you, telling you she's the chairman, and why she let you stay in my suburban villa, you'd best ask her yourself. Chenzi was completely unconvinced. Stop with this little act to mess with my head. Don't think I don't know what you're doing. You see that my mom's almost here. You're scared you can't win against me, so you're spouting all this nonsense to try and drive a wedge between us before she arrives. You're just jealous that I was born with a silver spoon, that I'm a billionaire's son. That's why you teamed up with these people to trick me, trying to take my family's place. The classmates behind him chimed in. That's right, you're just jealous that Brother Z has such a rich mother, so you hired actors to put on a show and ruin their relationship. We're not falling for such a cheap trick. Just wait until Mrs. Wang gets here. You'll see just how ridiculous you all look right now. Just as the words left his mouth, the sound of hurried footsteps came from the doorway. All eyes turned to the entrance. Wang Xiumian had arrived. She ran inside, panting heavily. When she saw me, Liu Ruyan, and everyone else in the villa, the color drained from her face. Seeing this, the classmates rushed forward to greet her. Mrs. Wang, you're finally here? Lin Tiancheng hired a bunch of actors to put on a play. They're trying to intimidate us. They even said Lin Tiancheng is the chairman of Shengxi Group and that this villa is his, and you're just a maid. Yeah, and they're trying to hold us here. They want to make us pay. They were just bad-mouthing you to Brother Z a minute ago. You can't let them get away with it. Yeah, show these actors who don't know their place what a real chairman looks like. Wang Xiumian was rooted to the spot, her face ashen as she scanned the wreckage in the living room. She saw the blood on the corner of my mouth and my disheveled hair. Finally, her gaze landed on the shattered pieces of jade on the floor. Seeing the broken jade, her pupils contracted violently. She was all too familiar with that piece of jade. For all the years she had served my mother, she had seen my mother wear it. She was there the day my mother passed. She had heard with her own ears how my mother instructed me to protect this necklace. She knew it was the only thing my mother left me, a treasure I always cherished. And now, it was shattered. Wang Xiumian's lips trembled. She wanted to say something, but no sound came out. Chen, as I strode over quickly, he took her arm, saying worriedly, Mom, you're here. These people were bullying me. Hurry, call your men and have them arrested. He pointed at me and Liu Ruyan. He gritted his teeth. Especially these two, they keep insisting you're a maid and that our house and company all belong to Lin Tiancheng. Even this villa is his. They say, Mom, hurry up and tell them that all of this is yours. Wang Xiumian remained motionless. Chenzi sensed something was wrong and shook her arm. Mom, what's wrong? Say something the next second. Wang Xiumian slowly raised her head to look at me. Her eyes were filled with panic and a pleading look. Then she let go of Chenzi's arm and rushed over to me. Just like last time, she lowered her voice to a whisper only I could hear. Young master, I'm begging you, please help me. Please, just lie for me this one time. In front of AZ, just pretend that I'm the owner of this house, that the company and the properties are all mine. and that you're just a pitiful freeloader. Just this once. I'm begging you. You know Azzy's father died young. You know how hard it was for me to raise him all by myself. He's always been a proud kid. If he finds out I'm just a housekeeper, he'll be completely crushed. Young master, for all the years I've served your parents, please help me just one more time. Just this one last time. I promise, I'll work hard from now on. I'll never let him bother you again. I'll do whatever you say. Her voice was low, so low that only I could hear. But every word she uttered struck me as utterly ridiculous. I stared at her for a few seconds, then couldn't help but laugh. Wang Xiumian, where do you get the nerve to say these things to me? Wang Xiumian's face stiffened. A look of panic flashed in her eyes. She instinctively glanced back at Chen Zhe. Young master, she pleaded, her voice even quieter. Please keep your voice down. I ignored her. I continued, out of respect for my parents, I let you stay in my house. I gave you a raise. I paid for your son's tuition. I've treated you and your son with the utmost tolerance, putting up with you time and time again. And you? Not only did you let your son live in my house, you let him strut around like he owned the place right in front of me. You let him post warning notices to me in my own home. And now, you've let him bring people to my parents' villa to cause a scene, assault people, and destroy property. Tell me, after everything you two have done, what right do you have to ask me for help? Beads of sweat started to form on Wang Xiumian's forehead. Young master, her voice trembled. I didn't mean to. I was just what? I cut her off. Just wanted to tell Chenzi you're the chairman of the company? Just moved him into my house and told him it was yours? Just stole my belongings for him to use, and then let him into my parents' villa to trample all over everything here? Wang Xiumian, do you know what your actions are called? It's theft. It's fraud. Wang Xiumian was in a complete panic. Young master, I truly know I was wrong. I just really wanted him to have a good environment to grow up in. You wanted him to have a good environment? So you used my things to prop up his image. I sneered. Did you ever stop to think about how your actions would affect me? They beat me, and they broke the heirloom my mother left me. Wang Xiumian, at this point, what makes you think I would ever help you? Faced with my questioning, Wang Xiumian's face was as white as a sheet, her mouth hung open, her whole body trembling. Young master, I can compensate you. Compensate? I scoffed. That jade was an heirloom. From my mother, it's what she traded her life for. What could you possibly use to compensate me? Wang Xiumian was utterly speechless. Just then, Chen Zi finally lost his patience. He strode forward and pushed Wang Xiumian aside. He stood in front of her and glared at me. What are you two whispering about? He turned to Wang Xiumian with a suspicious look. Is he playing the victim again, begging you to let him off the hook? Wang Xiumian opened her mouth to say something, then swallowed her words. Chen Zi realized something was wrong. His brow furrowed even deeper. Why aren't you saying anything? What exactly did he say to you? Did he try to guilt-trip you or threaten you? Mom, don't be afraid of him. Whatever it is, just say it. If he dares to threaten you, we'll call the police. I refuse to believe a freeloader can cause this much trouble. Wang Xiumian finally lifted her head. She glanced at Chen Zi, then back at me. Her lips moved for a long time. Finally, she managed to squeeze out a sentence. Izzy stopped talking. What? Why can't I talk? Don't tell me you're actually scared of him. Wang Xiumian frowned, her voice trembling. Just stop talking. The truth isn't what you think. Chen Zi's eyes widened. Not what I think. Then what is it? Don't tell me the truth is what he said. That you're his maid? At this, Chen Zi couldn't help but laugh. I can't believe someone would actually say something so ridiculous. Mom, hurry up and put them in their place. Tell them loud and clear. Who does this villa and the company really belong to? The other students also turned their expectant gazes to Wang Xiumian. They urged her on. That's right, Mrs. Wang, hurry and reveal your identity. Show them some respect. How dare a nobody and a bunch of actors try to show off on your turf? Hurry up and teach them a lesson. Yeah, brother, Z is waiting for you to get justice for him. Faced with everyone's urging, Wang Xiumian didn't move a muscle. Chen Zi nudged her, confused. Mom, say something. Wang Xiumian kept her head down. Her voice was as quiet as a mosquito's buzz. What they said is the truth. The entire living room fell silent. The smile on Chen Zi's face froze completely. He stared at Wang Xiumian with utter disbelief. What did you say? Wang Xiumian didn't dare to look at him. Her voice grew even quieter. Young Master Lin is right. He is the chairman of Shangxi Group. The house downtown is his. This villa is also his. I'm just his housekeeper. Every word Wang Xiumian uttered was like a heavy hammer blow to Chen Zi's heart. The color drained from his face at a visible rate, from white to green, and from green to a deathly purple. Mom, what did you say? His voice trembled violently. Say it again. Wang Xiumian finally raised her head and said seriously, Hazy, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to lie to you. I just care about you too much. I was afraid you'd be ashamed if you knew I was a housekeeper, so I shut up, Chen Zi screamed hysterically. The breakdown caused Chen Zi to cut Wang Xiumian off. Shut up! Don't say another word, so you've really been lying to me all this time. You told me you were the chairman of Shengxi Group, that you lived in a mansion, that you were a multi-billionaire. Was it all a lie? Are you really just a maid with nothing to her name? Wang Xiumian hung her head low. She mumbled, I'm sorry. What good is sorry? Chen Zi shrieked, completely losing control. Do you have any idea what I told my classmates? I told them, my mom is a chairman, a tycoon, a successful businesswoman, and now you're telling me you're just a maid. How am I supposed to face my friends now? How can I ever hold my head up high in front of them again? With that, Chen Zi grabbed Wang Xiumian by the shoulders. He repeatedly demanded to know why she had to lie to him, why she had to be so useless and ruin his life. The classmates standing by watched this scene unfold, stunned. The looks on their faces were beyond ugly. That's enough, I said. My voice wasn't loud, but it was enough to silence the room. Chen Zi and Wang Xiumian both turned to look at me. You want to argue? You want to cause a scene? You'll have plenty of time for that later, but right now there are a few things we need to get straight. I walked up to Wang Xiumian and looked her straight in the eye. First, you, without my permission, gave my villa to others to use, causing damage to much of the furniture and property. This is illegal trespassing and property damage. Second, you took many valuable items from my home, including collectible wines, clothes, watches, furniture, and appliances. This constitutes theft. Third, you concealed your true identity. You used my assets as a front to deceive your son, and you condoned his assault and battery against me. You are an accomplice in this matter and cannot escape responsibility. With every point I made, Wang Xiumian grew another shade paler. Fourth, I pointed to the broken jade on the floor. This was my mother's heirloom, and now your son has smashed it. Wang Xiumian's legs gave out from under her. She collapsed to the ground. Young master, I didn't mean for any of this to happen. Please, I'm begging you, let me go this one time. I swear it will never happen again. She knelt on the floor, kowtowing repeatedly. Chen Zi stood to the side, watching his kneeling mother with an incredibly complex expression. There was anger, disappointment, humiliation, and even a flicker of unnamed guilt. As for his friends, they were huddled in a corner. The same people who were just screaming about teaching me a lesson now didn't even dare to look at me. Liu Ruyan walked over and handed me a file. President Lin, here are the photos and videos from the scene. All the damaged items have been documented as evidence, including the injuries you sustained. I took the file. I flipped through a few pages and nodded. Then I looked at Wang Xiumian. Get up. Wang Xiumian looked up. A glimmer of hope appeared in her eyes. Young master, are you willing to forgive me? I looked at her. I enunciated each word clearly. Forgive you? No. I just told you to stand up to talk. How this is handled is up to the police. From this moment on, I will no longer grant you any special treatment just because you worked in my home for many years. All color drained from Wang Xiumian's face. She slumped to the floor like a pile of mud. Seeing this, Chen Zi finally realized how serious the situation was. He frowned and walked up to me, his voice trembling. Hey, Lin Tiancheng today was just a misunderstanding. I didn't know this house was yours. I thought you thought what? I looked at him. You thought I was a freeloader so you could just hit me and smash my things whenever you felt like it? I've already called the police. They'll be here any minute. For your assault and destruction of property, I will be pressing charges to the fullest extent. Chen Zi's face went white instantly. He turned to Wang Xiumian and cried out tearfully. Mom, say something. Didn't you say you'd protect me? That you'd make sure I'd never have to worry about anything my whole life? Why are you so quiet now? Wang Xiumian knelt on the floor, looking at her son with eyes full of bitterness. Oz, I can't even save myself. How am I supposed to protect you? Chen Zi was stunned. Just then, the sound of police sirens echoed from outside. A few police officers walked in. I briefly explained the situation, from Wang Xiumian's unauthorized use of the villa to Chen Zi leading a group to break in, assaulting me and destroying property. I spoke to the police with a firm voice. Officers, these people publicly slandered and assaulted me. They also defiled the villa, destroyed furniture, drank all my collectible wine, and smashed my mother's heirloom. For every single one of these offenses, I will not accept any form of settlement. I demand that you handle this strictly and according to the law. Understood. The officer nodded, and they quickly took everyone involved back to the station. Before they left, they told me to bring proof of the damaged property's value, purchase receipts, and a medical report of my injuries to the station to determine liability. I went to the hospital to get my wounds treated, got the report, and then brought all the documents to the police station. At the station, the once arrogant group of classmates were all crestfallen. They had only been sucking up to Chen Zi because they were in awe of Wang Xiumian's supposed status as the chairman of Shengxi Group. They thought Chen Zi was the future heir, which is why they latched onto him. But now, the person they thought was a young master was the son of a maid, and the person they had insulted was the one they should have been trying to impress. The realization was a bitter pill to swallow. They looked at Chen Zi with eyes full of resentment. By this point, Chen Zi had completely fallen apart. He was facing the biggest shock of his life. Not only was he facing a massive compensation claim, but more importantly, the fact that he, the one who always claimed to hate freeloaders the most, was the biggest freeloader of all. It was a truth he simply could not accept. The police took the documents I brought and cross-referenced them. In the end, they calculated that the wine alone that Chen Zi's group drank in the villa would cost over 10 million yuan to replace. Adding in the damaged sofa and carpet, the total came to 20 million yuan. Hearing that number, everyone's face changed. 20 million yuan was an astronomical sum for any of them. They couldn't afford it. All they could do was say helplessly, "You're so rich already. Why are you getting hung up on such a small amount of money? Yeah, this was all just a misunderstanding. We can just talk it out. You don't have to push us into a corner, do you? So we drank the wine in your cabinet and ruined your sofa and carpet. You're the richest man in the city. You're not going to be so petty as to nickel and dime us over this, are you? That's right, look at you. Your injuries aren't even that bad. Don't be so stingy." They spoke as if they were completely in the right, as if 20 million was pocket change, or as if they assumed that because I was rich, I was obligated to be a fool and take the loss. I sneered. Weren't you all pretty arrogant when you were drinking my wine and beating me up? What's this about me not being petty now? If you have the guts to cause trouble, you better have the guts to pay for it. Seeing that I had no intention of backing down, they panicked. They stopped arguing with me and immediately turned their aim on Chen Zi. This is all your fault for not getting your facts straight before spouting nonsense. Yeah, your mom is clearly just a maid, but you pretended she was a chairman. You're the freeloader, but you had the nerve to criticize others. You dragged all of us into this mess. Even your own tuition was paid for by Lin Tiancheng. And you still had the gall to claim you were the heir to Shengxi Group. You're the worst. We got into this trouble just trying to suck up to you. You can pay this money yourself. It has nothing to do with us. If you hadn't invited us to the villa, none of this would have happened. You're on your own for this 20 million. Don't even think about making us chip in. Faced with their accusations, Chen Zi furiously shot back. You have the nerve to blame me. If you all weren't so desperate to suck up to the rich and powerful, constantly egging me on, would I have gone this far? When you thought I was a billionaire's son, you couldn't kiss up to me enough. Now that there's trouble, you turn your backs on me? You people are nothing but a bunch of fair-weather opportunists. None of you are getting out of this today. Chen Zi stood there, screaming and cursing at his so-called friends. If the police hadn't stepped in, they would have started a brawl right then and there. After a round of arguments, the group started trying to make excuses for themselves again. One said he didn't drink that much. Another claimed he never laid a hand on me. Finally, when the police showed them the security footage from the villa under the high-definition lens, they all shut their mouths, unable to say another word. Each person had to pay compensation according to their actions. As for Chen Zi, being the most active instigator, his debt was the largest. Faced with the enormous compensation amount, Chen Zi was helpless. He could only look at Wang Xiuqin. Mom, you started all of this. You have to find a way to fix it. Wang Xiuqin hesitated for a moment before looking at me, pleading. Young master, do we really have to be this ruthless? I'm begging you, for the sake of all the years I've spent taking care of your family, please give me some face. Can you please just let this go? I looked at Wang Xiuqin with cold eyes. Give you face? Wang Xiuqin, you took care of my family for years, and we repaid you with a high salary for all those years. Do you really think you have any face left with me? As of today, you are officially fired. And another thing, instead of begging for others, you should figure out how to save yourself. With that, I turned and walked away without looking back. Just like that, everyone had to scramble around trying to scrape together the money for compensation. Some classmates had to get on their knees and beg their parents, getting beaten half to death just to gather enough to pay off their debts. Those who couldn't afford to pay obediently accepted their sentences, paying the price for their greed and arrogance. Wang Xiuqin, for the crimes of theft, intentional destruction of property, and illegal trespassing, was sentenced to a total of 3 years in prison. Chen Zi, for intentional assault and destruction of property, was sentenced to 2 years in prison. Going through all this made me realize one absolute truth. In this world, taking a step back doesn't mean others will do the same for you. With some people, the more forgiving you are, the more they push your boundaries. The softer your heart, the more they'll dare to walk all over you. Your kindness must have some thorns, otherwise the world will just treat you like a soft persimmon and crush you to pieces.